Hola chicos, hoy vamos a ver videos terroríficos.
We tend to think of Disney as the happiest place on Earth, but at times it's more like the creepiest place on Earth. If you find that claim hard to believe, don't worry, we have some startling photographic evidence to back up our claims. To learn more about Disney's dark secrets, be sure to subscribe to The Riches and join our notification squad for the latest. The Wizard of Bras. If you're thinking that a lingerie shop seems out of place at Disneyland, you're not alone. But when the park opened, apparently someone thought it was a great idea. Not only was there a place where you could buy bras, underpants, and corsets at Disney, but it even had its very own creepy mascot, the Wizard of Bras. Sadly, it closed just 6 months after it opened, although we can't imagine why women didn't feel comfortable buying their underthings from a scary wizard at a Disney park. Have you ever wondered why the Disney park smells so good all the time? You might have heard of a magical device called the Smellitzer, but you've probably never noticed one unless you have an especially keen sense of smell. These devices blast out delicious scents all over the park. They keep Main Street smelling like freshly baked goods and make sure the air near Pirates of the Caribbean has that delightfully salty tang. Disney uses these scents to guide you to strategic locations. Skeletons. We know Disney pays a lot of attention to detail, but using real corpses in Pirates of the Caribbean is a bit too far-fetched to be true, right? When the ride first opened, all of the props were real cadavers since Disney employees weren't satisfied with the fake skeletons available at the time. Eventually, the real things were replaced with replicas, and we're unsure exactly which authentic ones remain. One that has been confirmed as still being an actual human skull is the skull and crossbones sitting above the bed in the treasure room. Utilidors. Having a secret labyrinth underneath the park seems like an urban legend for sure, but it's true. These utility corridors are better known as utilidors, and they're utilized all the time by park employees. They allow costumed actors to get to their shifts without walking through the park and let custodians remove trash discreetly from the ground level. Club 33. Yes, there actually is a secretive, exclusive club operating behind the scenes at Disney. It's called Club 33, and you probably can't afford to join it. Members are expected to pay a $25,000 application fee, followed by $12,500 yearly dues, and that's if you make it onto the guest list. You have to present your pass to gain entry into the secret club and various other backstage areas. The Tree of Life. Disney's Animal Kingdom is an incredible park dedicated to animal conservation. Its most impressive sculpture is the intricate 14-story tall Tree of Life. Too bad the whole thing is based on an offshore oil drilling platform, which kind of goes against the whole environmentalism thing. Engineers figured that this platform would be the perfect base, allowing it to support flexible branches so that the Tree of Life could move like a real tree. Remnants. Rather than get rid of some of the more unsettling park elements entirely, Disney sort of hides them all over the place, where they can unnerve the truly observant. You might notice a sad Eeyore near the line for the Indiana Jones ride, a remnant from a parking lot that used to be there. The strange, unblinking character heads outside of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique depict characters from the former Tinkerbell toy shop that used to be there. Black Sunday. Given the park's success, it's hard to believe that the opening to Disneyland was an absolute disaster known as Black Sunday. Thousands of people showed up with counterfeit tickets. Walt Disney himself was a mess on camera, and it was so hot that high heels began getting stuck in the asphalt that was poured last minute. Creepy costumes. In addition to the magical underpants-wielding wizard, the older park characters were just plain creepy as well. We're not kidding. Just check out this photo of Mickey and Minnie. No, they weren't mauled by Goofy. Those missing patches in their face were part of the design to let the people inside the costumes see and breathe better. Sure, the costumes today are so heavy they frequently cause the actors injury, but they're certainly less unsettling than the old ones. Mural. In Disney's Grand Floridian Resort is a mural painted in the ballroom. It's been alleged that there is a secret Nazi figure hidden somewhere in the painting, and the artist himself has confirmed this fact. He claimed that it was a social commentary about what was happening in the world. At the time, while the wealthy and powerful frittered away their time on parties and cocktails, the Nazis were emerging. Have you ever noticed any of these unsettling details on your Disney trip?
No.
Tell us.
Vamos a ver más videos. Vamos a ver a Hero. Nadie. Nadie. Yo soy la Hero, Hero, eso volvió de camisa. Pero a ver. Mejor este no. Most scary direct videos. Most scary direct videos. Most scary. Voy a tener que esperar. Vamos. A ver, vamos a ver qué nos encontramos. A ver, oh. Siren.
I would say that Siren Head might be an urban legend in and of itself. Enough people are vaguely aware of the Loch Lad's existence, and as such, there are some unofficial stories cropping up. While you'd be best off going straight to the source and checking out what Trevor Henderson has to say, there are some little details that you have to infer yourself. Tidbits of Siren Head lore that lead you to draw your own conclusions. And the conclusions that have been drawn are nothing short of urban legendary. Terrifying tales and bothersome behaviors related to the walking whaler himself. Hello, horror heads, and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host, Keegan Hughes, and today we're going to be counting down the top 5 scary Siren Head urban legends. Now, obviously, Siren Head hasn't been around long enough to develop a whole crop of moralistic tales and factoids to call his very own, but we've done our best to collect some interesting ideas that will keep the legend alive. And of course, check out Siren Head's creator's social media if you want the official lore. Link will be in the description. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more legendary lumbering. Perfect. Let's begin. Coming in at number 5, we've got Siren Head is the prototypical siren. No, I don't mean in the seafaring sense, although that would be fairly interesting. Sexy Siren Head sitting on rocks playing music to lure sailors to their doom.
We'll save that idea for another day. The siren I'm referring to is the invention we all know very well. The loudspeaker-shaped broadcast machine that alerts folks of impending danger. The device is strapped to a
Many ecosystems are still too dangerous for us to fully map out and explore, and with unknown environments comes the possibility of unknown creatures. Whether the footage on this list is real or not is up to you to decide. Either way, be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Chills. Number 20. The Bridge Walker. A person in Ukraine was filming a calm river one evening just in time to capture a humanoid-looking creature cross underneath of a bridge using all fours. As the footage shows, something is grabbing onto the underside of a bridge and silently making its way across. Exactly what the creature is remains a debate online to this day. Some people have pointed out that this could be a human, but others have noticed how its legs and arms appear to be the exact same length. It almost looks like it could be an animal, but I'm not aware of any animal from this region that likes to hang upside down from bridges. Besides, if someone had to go underneath a bridge like that for whatever reason, then they would either hang from their arms or else hug the bridge tightly while creeping across. This thing, on the other hand, just swings across the bottom like it's no big deal. Human or not, this thing definitely has a very bizarre center of gravity as it moves. Number 19. Slenderman. A British YouTuber is making a video to show off how fast his new bike is. After a short video explanation, he takes off down the road. A short while later, this happens. The figure in this video appears to be the Slenderman, a long-limbed humanoid in a black suit who is often seen lingering in the background of videos. It's said that he primarily hunts children. Although he is probably made up, some say that having enough people believe in him has now caused the myth to come to life. Then its child killer is alive and well. The biker returns to the camera a short while later. He is breathing hard now from his short ride. Somehow he doesn't even notice the Slenderman slowly walking around in the background. Eventually a car stops to warn him about the long-legged figure walking around in the field. Only then he reviews the footage and spots the creature, at which he uploads this recording straight to YouTube. Number 18. The Florida Sea Beast. Gene Sourwine has been fishing off the Florida coast for hours now, and he's about to call it a day. He casts his line into the gently bobbing blue waters one last time and starts to patiently reel it in. That's when he sees it, something in the ocean. He can't see its whole body, only brief glimpses. It looks giant, as in prehistoric size. Suddenly a snake-like head surfaces and goes back under the water. But Gene can tell this is no snake. For one thing, this monster has a huge round body and webbed fins. It's easily over 14 feet long and looks to weigh more than a ton.
Here you see the back coming out of the water, and since there's not a dorsal fin on it, it's unlikely that it would be some kind of dolphin.
Gene is watching something incredible, but he knows that he needs both video evidence and a witness for anyone to take this seriously. So he goes back to the mainland and grabs his brother and a camera. They rush back to the same location and start filming again, hoping that the sea creature hadn't moved on while they were away. As the footage shows, their sea monster most certainly had not gone anywhere. As much as they have tried, experts and internet critics alike cannot explain exactly what this footage is. Now, I'm not saying that this is 100% real, but I'm also saying that I personally can't tell if it's fake either. This even made it onto an episode of Monster Quest on the History Channel, and nobody could explain it on there either. Coincidentally, there are reports in the 1800s of sailors seeing huge monsters around the waters of Jacksonville, Florida. These creatures had huge bodies and serpent-like heads. They were also quite aggressive and would chase the boats for miles. Could this be video evidence of the sailors' claims hundreds of years later? Number 17. The Alaskan Water Assassin. There's a lot of questionable videos on the internet, but here's one with a very legitimate source. This footage was taken by the Alaskan Bureau of Land Management and posted on their Facebook page. Swimming in the chilly waters is what some believe is a distant relative of the Loch Ness Monster. Others say that this creature wasn't really moving at all, and that it was probably a floating piece of rope. Even if it was staying in place, a lot of sea animals are known to remain stationary for long periods of time. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not real. Only Mother Nature knows for sure, and she's not telling. Number 16, the cave creature. Most people agree that this video is probably CGI, but there's still a large portion of the internet that believes it is authentic, so let's take a closer look. It was supposedly taken somewhere in Colombia in 2011. The first thing to indicate that this could be fake is the dramatic music. Also, the sound effects don't seem particularly realistic. Still, the original sound seems to have been lost long ago, so maybe this is authentic footage that has been heavily edited over the years. Anyway, the cave explorer flashes his light on something that appears to be sleeping on the cave floor. I have to admit that these are some pretty convincing special effects if this is fake, especially for 6 years ago. The lighting looks very good, the camera angles look staged, but then again, it is possible that they were shooting some sort of home movie when they accidentally came across this cave creature. Whoever filmed this doesn't seem to be coming forward, so we'll likely never know if it's real or fake for sure. Number 15, the Albino Sasquatch. This footage was taken in 2011. A man is wandering the woods in Pennsylvania when his flashlight chances upon one of the most popular humanoids of all time. The Sasquatch is devoid of pigment and doesn't put up much of a fight, instead taking off as soon as the flashlight beam hits its face. Notice not only how fast it runs, but also how silently it moves. Somehow it was able to watch the cameraman from less than 10 feet away and get away with hardly any noise. Number 14, Humonculus. The Humonculus is rumored to be an artificial type of creature that was first discovered sometime during the medieval ages by the way of alchemy. The recipe for this legend has since been lost, but some YouTubers have claimed to have rediscovered a way after doing some tinkering in their kitchen. The process used to create a homunculus is kind of gross. You can look it up if you want, but all I will say is that it involves fertilizing a chicken egg using a syringe. Next, you seal the egg off in a plastic container and keep it warm by wrapping it up in a cloth. For some reason, you also have to keep the area very dark. Perhaps this has something to do with witchcraft. No one can touch or disturb the egg in the slightest. You can't even look at it. If you do, you will kill the homunculus before it can hatch. After enough time has passed, about 10 days or so, you remove the egg from its container. The egg appears to have developed some sort of infection, but this could also be some normal part of the process. The YouTuber cracks open the disgusting egg, and this is what he finds laying inside.
Вот он наглядно виден, но это существо, конечно же, не может обладать какой-то высокоразвитой формой интеллекта. В лучшем случае это что-то на уровне амебы, или там, может быть, медузы.
This tiny creature has no discernible features except for some long tendrils attached to his shriveled up central body. It looks like a chewed up white piece of gum, except it moves. Apparently, they are no smarter than a jellyfish. Maybe the ones from medieval times were more advanced. There's videos out there that tries to prove the homunculus experiment is fake, but then again, maybe they didn't do it right. Maybe they didn't wait long enough or else made some noise. The process is reportedly very delicate and can take at least a couple tries to master. Number 13, the Russian Yeti. A Russian police officer is roaming the snowy countryside when he comes in close contact with a creature that has since never been identified. The officer is traveling at a low rate of speed when suddenly something huge dashes across his headlights. The strange figure is only visible for a moment, then it's gone. Many YouTubers suspect this to be a Russian Yeti. Others are sure that it's a man in a suit or even someone who is completely naked, though this theory is hard to believe because a person in Russia would probably freeze to death if they stood outside naked for very long. Look closely and you'll see that whatever it is, it's moving quite fast. It only takes the thing about 5 or 6 steps to fully get away, and I should mention that the snowbanks on both sides of the tracks appear to be very deep. An average-sized person would be struggling way more to get over them. Zoom in and you'll see what looks to be white fur hanging off of its body. Also, it looks to be hunched over and its arms almost touch the ground. If this is a costume, it's very convincing. Number 12, the lizard bird. This happened somewhere in Monterrey, Mexico, and was witnessed by dozens of people. It was so bizarre that it even made the local news. Flying high in the sky was some sort of aggressive creature the townsfolk had not seen before. It looked like some sort of hawk, but when it got closer, they could see that it was something else completely. Local wildlife officials were able to eventually wrestle it into captivity. but not without a fight. This is exactly what they saw.
Tan solo se trataba de un ave no muy conocida y de apariencia extraña, lo que ocasionó el temor de los vecinos del lugar.
The creature looks like a bird, but it has no beak. Instead, its mouth opens up like some sort of frog or lizards. Could this be some sort of reptilian bird hybrid? Number 11, the Icelandic Sea Monster. A man in Iceland seems to have video evidence of a possible local creature that is not unlike the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland. Like so many others who witness unknown creatures, this person was innocently filming the native scenery when something unexpected happened to come across the camera. In this case, what appears to be a 20 or 30 foot long sea serpent winds across the icy waters, barely poking above the surface. This could be a piece of floating sea garbage, or even a fishing net, but others insist that its sidewinding movement is undeniably snake-like. It looks very predatory. If it was a piece of debris, it would move with the current. However, this one seems to zigzag against it at times. Number 10, the Humanoid Zoo. This footage was taken by an American tourist who was visiting Romania. He was just walking around a local zoo on his own, checking out the sights when he hears about a new attraction that is unlike any of the others. He is ushered into a dark farmhouse along with some other curious observers. Almost immediately, the tone of the video changes from skeptical to serious. It's hard to say exactly how, but something just feels wrong all of a sudden. You can hear the villagers talking among themselves, excitedly as they push past. Farm animals are making noises as the American makes his way deeper inside. This section is very dark now, and even though the Romanians are speaking in a different language, you can tell that people are sounding worried and concerned as they come closer and closer to the main attraction. Finally, the American tourist sees it for himself. Sitting across from them on a straw floor is what appears to be a white humanoid creature with black eyes and a wide gap for a mouth. It makes a series of tortured gurgling sounds and then charges towards its cage as the video quickly ends. It's hard to tell if this is a real creature or a man in a suit because the lighting is very dim. At the same time, Romania is a very rural country, and anything could be lurking in the woods. Maybe someone really did capture this thing and drag it back to society to be gawked at by paying crowds. If this thing is real, then the poor humanoid sounds like it's been severely mistreated and probably needs help. Number 9, Monster Crossing. This highway footage comes from Britain and is about 10 years old. It looks like just another normal night until an unknown creature comes scampering across 4 lanes of traffic in less than 5 seconds. It almost looks like a deer or dog at first, but a closer look shows you that its legs bend inwards at an odd angle. Its front and back legs nearly touch as it runs, almost like a cheetah, but such an animal, of course, is impossible to see in a place like Britain. The YouTube community seems to be split on this one. Some people insist that it's CGI, but others say that the footage is authentic, even when zoomed and slowed down. The monster appears to jump over the median at the right time and narrowly avoids getting hit by the car. No other cameras have managed to pick it up since, or if they did, then the footage was never released to the public. Number 8. It came from Area 51. A group of friends are poking around just outside of the legal limits of Area 51 when they make a strange discovery. At first, the creature appears to blend in with the scenery, but look closely and you can make out a long head and a curly tail.
What is that, dude? Did you just change it? Yes! Look at this, dude. Look.
The creature stands up and appears to turn towards them. It must have a very good sense of hearing because its body language suggests that it has been startled by them. Suddenly, it disappears in a thin lay of bright white light, never to be seen again. If aliens can escape this easily, it's no wonder why they have rarely been filmed. Another explanation for this video, of course, is the possibility of CGI. Number 7, the Forest Creeper. A group of men in Brazil are swimming in a local watering hole on a warm day. One of them gets out of the water and is about to jump in when the cameraman suddenly spots something standing behind them. Pay attention to the dark hole on the left. The creature peeks out at them and then ducks away before the man can turn around. As they are curiously looking into the forest, the creature jumps across and runs away. This is no ordinary forest animal. Zoom in close and you can barely see a small set of human-like legs. It looks to almost be as scared as everyone else as it retreats deeper into the forest. The quality of this video is poor, but the cell phone cameras aren't the greatest in the Brazilian countryside. It could be real, or just special effects. Number 6. Le Alien. This footage is believed to have been shot somewhere in France. It starts out with a UFO sitting on the hillside that quickly flies away. The next shot shows it hovering in the air, and then we are shown this footage of what appears to be a group of aliens conversing on the ground.
¿Qué?
It looks like they are talking about whatever it is aliens talk about as they casually observe their surroundings. Maybe they were talking about technical difficulties with their ship, or else they were simply stretching their legs between planets. It doesn't look like they are aware that they are being recorded. The UFO again takes off and disappears in a beam of light. Number 5. Mystery Corpse. It's large, round, and dead, but what is it? This unknown creature washed ashore the beaches of New York sometime around 2012. A lot of people are saying that it's just a washed-up raccoon, but experts are saying no way. First of all, this creature looks like it has a beak-like jawbone, which raccoons obviously do not. The limbs are too short for a raccoon, and the skull is shaped way differently. Keep in mind that this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of Rebecca Alexis Turner, a person who has been working with possums, raccoons, and other forms of wildlife for years. So again, if it's not a raccoon or a possum, then what could it be? Who knows? Hopefully you'll never have a live one charge at you and find out. Number 4. The Kitchen Goblin. A mother in Argentina caught this strange sighting on tape while watching her son Benjamin play in the kitchen. The toddler is babbling away happily when suddenly a tiny creature runs across the kitchen floor. It starts out running around the corner and quickly disappears under the dresser. The mother says that this goblin stank horribly as it ran outside to their garden. She often hears Benjamin talking by himself in his room, but now she believes that he may have been communicating with the goblins. She thought the creature was a mouse at first, but after she saw it was running on only 2 legs, she didn't know what to think of it. Apparently, she claims to have captured the goblins on tape no less than 5 times, though this is the only video footage that has surfaced. Number 3. The English Mermaid. Otherwise known as aquatic humanoids, mermaids have been long suspected of existing deep beneath the seas, though no credible video evidence has ever surfaced. Paul Jones was walking along the beach in Great Yarmouth when he makes this brutal discovery. A half-decayed mermaid laid rotting in the wet sand right before his very eyes. It had the scaly body of a fish right up to the mid-torso, at which point the upper body of the creature suddenly changed into that of a human. It was just like the legends had always said. The video and photography clearly shows that the washed-up creature has human-like arms, which it probably used to paddle through the water, which is being propelled by a giant tail fin. The center of the mermaid corpse appears to have been hollowed out, probably eaten by a large predator. Its face is mostly rotten, but a grim expression gives the impression that it could have died in agony. If you look closely, you can still see both of the mermaid's unblinking eyes stare back at you. Number 2. The Dog Hunter. This video starts out as a normal shot of what looks like a restaurant in another country. The footage is pretty high quality. Nothing looks out of the ordinary, right? Well, pay close attention to the small dog as it passes through the frame. You'll probably see something walking closely behind. If you didn't see it, watch the footage again in slow motion. You'll see the dog walk out from behind the motorcycle. It's just sniffing around, minding its own business, when suddenly a transparent apparition comes stomping out from behind. Okay, what the heck is that? It looks like a demon or a reptile from another dimension walking on 2 legs. It's following the dog closely, almost like it wants the dog for its next meal. Nobody else seems to have seen the creature, but its electromagnetic frequencies appear to have been captured on tape. Skeptics are quick to say that this is just the dog's reflection, but if that were true, then shouldn't the reflection look similar to the original animal? This creature, on the other hand, has a long tail, 2 legs, and what almost appears to be T-Rex arms. I guess it kind of looks like the dog, but at the same time, doesn't there also look like there's some major differences to you? Before we get to number 1, if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real life, then follow me on Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT. with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT_chills, where I post video updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me, and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you'd like to see more of these videos in the future, then hit that subscribe button because I upload a new scary video every Thursday. Number 1. The Oddling. This video was taken in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, sometime in 2015. The person filming had been hearing loud disturbances all around his house and grabbed a camera before running outside. He is trying to track the source of the movement. It sounds almost like a squeaky trampoline. Nervous birds are chattering loudly nearby. The cameraman zooms in on some of his backyard plants, but whatever is making the noise isn't hiding there. Suddenly, a series of loud bangs come from directly above. He swings the camera around, and this is what he finds. What would you do in this situation? Maybe you'd scream, run for cover, or even grab a weapon. This cameraman stands frozen in place, however, too shocked to make a sound. Suddenly, the humanoid creature scrambles over the roof and makes a hasty escape. The person runs into the house and gets away. Both of them appear to be equally afraid of each other. If this long, skinny creature